Let's now look at an introduction in terms of the argument essays, the introduction now is slightly different, so that's why we're grouping these two together. So the same principles as applied for the cause, effect, solution essays remain in place. We should outline the topic, and then we should respond to the question and then describe what is coming in the body. Now there's a slight difference with number 2 here. The response to the question is important in an argument essay, and the reader or the examiner should know immediately what your answer is to the question. Lots of candidates don't do this. A good introduction in an argument essay should immediately tell the reader what your opinion is. So always do the pre-writing, the same as cause, solution, cause, effect, all task 2 writing, and in fact all writing. You should think about these pre-writing steps. So you have to read the question very carefully. When you're thinking about the question now, is it one-sided or two-sided? Can you just describe one side? And if so, do that, because it's always easier to only describe one side than 2 sides. Step 2, get your ideas, take your notes, and step 3, plan. Remember also that planning will help with that thesis statement. Now let's start by looking at a one-sided essay. Nowadays, we've got the key question coming up here. Nowadays, people spend a large amount of time watching television. This is a total waste of people's time. They should involve themselves in more healthy, active pursuits in their free time. So to what extent do you agree or disagree? So notice the keywords being underlined, which is basically exactly the same as we did with cause-solution essays. So as we come over to the side, yes, again, we're thinking of synonyms. I've mentioned nowadays. There's lots of words we can use there. The wasting time was a key element, so we should be mentioning that as well. So they've got some good synonyms there. Uses valuable time. And now they're suggesting that people spend their free time doing healthy things, so we need to have synonyms for healthy activities. They've given some examples there, and also the word free time. Now the question is agree or disagree. So we have a choice here. Do we agree or disagree? We make a decision here. So the tense is going to be present or present perfect. And the simplified question, as we've basically just said, that watching TV is bad, we should do active things. Do you agree or disagree? So notice when the ideas come up here that the person immediately has their opinion. They disagree with this idea. TV is okay. They're not going to talk about 2 sides, because it would not make sense in this essay to say on the one hand TV is good, on the other hand TV is bad. We're not going to say that. We're going to make it our clear opinion. So we're going to talk about the good things about TV, and I've got 3 points and some examples there. That it's easy, it's relaxing, that it's social, and that we can learn things. And then they're not going to talk about the good things about active pursuits. They're going to talk about the disadvantages, so that makes their argument stronger. So they've got 2 things to talk about there, that it's difficult to find a place to exercise, and then the second point, that maybe it wastes time. So let's now think about how that would look as an introduction. So we've got the same question, and now we're going to analyze their answer. So notice there's 2 sentences here, the same as cause, solution, effect. So the first sentence is describing the background information of the topic. So just paraphrasing again, as the same as before, we're talking about the negative effects there, and the better off is a very good example of high level, natural language, and they've got lots of synonyms, but active pursuits has been changed to active outdoor activities, so it's kind of similar. Now we notice that this person has a very strong opinion, which is excellent to have in a one-sided argument. It's asking, do you agree or disagree? So we know immediately this person's opinion. I completely disagree with this point of view. So that's a good referencing there, this point of view. So they disagree with the idea that TV is wasting time. And then they say this essay will outline why watching TV is good. So we know very clearly immediately this person's opinion, and we know what the essay is going to be about. So this is an excellent introduction to a one-sided argument essay. Now note also that this question here is basically an effect and solution essay, isn't it? That TV's bad, and then they're giving a solution that we should be more active. Your job is to judge the solution here. So you're judging whether this is good or bad, and we see clearly that this person thinks this is a bad solution. Remember, a lot of students, I get the feeling, are concerned that they have to agree. You do not have to agree. You have to argue your opinion well to get a good mark in Task 2 writing. Again, notice that those two sentences in blue should be connected. They're not meant to be separated like they are here. This is just so you understand the purpose of both sentences. Now we have to change to what I think is the trickiest question. Probably the most difficult question is the two-sided essay in Task 2 writing. So let's go through that first of all. You notice that the question is quite long. These questions, because you're being asked to discuss both points of view, it has to be a long question and a long topic. So we see it there with some people, the idea that animals should not be used by humans, and then on the other side that it's fine to use animals. So two contrasting opinions. You're being asked to discuss both those opinions and give your opinion. So this becomes very tricky in the body, but we'll explain that later on. In the introduction, it's basically the same as the one-sided. But before that, let's think about synonyms. So we have some good word forms there, some changes from exploited to used and needed. People, lots of synonyms of course there. Food, they're mentioning food, so we've got lots of words we could use there as well. So in terms of the tense, present, present perfect, passive voice maybe as well. And the simplified question down the bottom there, so we understand the question clearly. It is using animals for food and research. Is that okay or not okay? And you have to discuss both points of view. So the person's opinion here is it's not okay, and their opinion. However, the notes now have to be slightly different than the one-sided. Now we have to talk about the both sides. So we're going to discuss the good points for using animals, and then we're going to discuss the bad points. Now, even at this stage, the person has decided that's going to be their opinion. You see why they have three good reasons on the other side. So when you have more points or reasons, that really should be your answer, and we see that that's what this person's going to do. So as we see this drawing up again, this is the question again, so we don't need to go over it once more, but let's have a look and analyze their introduction. So if we look at the first sentence initially, and I'll get you to pause here and talk with your partner, see if you can notice how they are using synonyms and other word forms to replace the language from the question. So we see lots of modals being used here as well, which is good. Should be treated would be a good one. The linking word whereas is good. That shows high-level grammar there. So it's two separate sentences in the question, and their introduction, they've combined that into two with the use of the word whereas. They're keeping others and some people the same. That's fine. You could have synonyms there as well. And the very important thing is that the thesis statement tells the reader what's coming, that the essay is going to discuss both points of view, and it also says it's going to give the writer's opinion. And the writer's opinion is that it's not acceptable to use animals for food and research. And that's very good language, and it's a very good start as well to a two-sided essay where we know what the writer is going to do and we know the writer's opinion.